Hit the record button there and let's get today rolling. It's Monday, it's the kickoff of the week. So you guys know what today is going to be all about. It's going to be about deciding all the things you're not going to do this week and instead pick the things that you are going to get done. But before we get into that exercise, kind of like I've been doing the last couple of weeks and have you guys post those in the chat and kind of talk through some of the stuff. I'm curious, this is like week 3 now with this rhythm. Who's finding some success with this process here, or this rhythm? Who's getting some kind of like good things done throughout the week because they're putting a little bit of clarity to some stuff? I see Keith wrote totally.
We're getting a ton done actually with this kind of rhythm, because it gives you every single day, it gives you something, one thing to go work on. And I think that's made a really good rhythm for me and Jacob, because he's the sales and acquisitions guy. So I may or may not be on Tuesday, but he definitely should be. Me, I'm work more on the back end. So the lead vault, we both get on the lead vault and SEO calls. So just every day it's given us something to do. And I think that's definitely helping us out this year for sure.
Love it. Who else? Keith, I saw you wrote totally. So it's kind of like the Keith and Jordan show right now, but.
Yeah, I mean, just to elaborate a little bit on, just streamlining focus, just staying in the moment. It's easier to have short-term goals and accomplish those short-term goals. Keep making those, having those small victories, but over a longer period of time. It's like I tell people, man, I have access to Shawn Tiberio every day, but seriously, in our network of investors, Coach Bud, like everybody on here, like it's crazy. So, I talk to these guys every day. That's pretty amazing thing to be able to say.
Love it. Anybody else finding some good success with it? Dare I ask, who's not?
I tell you, I'm a little overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Elaborate a little bit. But
sure, no problem. So if I were to show you what my calendar looks like with the regular business workings, the things that I'm trying to put together on top of the fact that we have a 5 o'clock and that even though I'm not the only person involved and I'm attempting to delegate everything out, I'm still in the process of hiring everyone so that I can delegate it out. So right now I'm the hamster on the wheel.
Okay. Where's that overwhelm kind of triggering? What part is overwhelming? What do you feel like you're missing throughout the week?
Honestly, like today is my admin day. It's a federal holiday, man. Like there's nothing I can do. So now tomorrow I've got, instead of having, everything like that I would have done today, now I've got a double workload tomorrow. So all the banking, the administration, I had a bookkeeper meeting today, which was great. At least they showed up, that kind of stuff. But like I have a lot of money on the table right now. And so I have estate planning tomorrow. Then your simple stuff, just I got to get a haircut, dude. You know what I mean? Like try to find a place, try to squeeze that in somewhere. Cause it's like, it's a 20 minutes out. God forbid they don't have my time. Like, well, we're running a few minutes late. Is that okay? Well, actually it's not. I've got you butted up against three other meetings right after that. And then I've got a follow-up call or follow-up walkthrough tomorrow at like 11 o'clock. I've got another scheduled meeting at 12, legal at 1, CSM at 2. Then I have a scheduled nap, thank God, right? Because then I got like, I'm no kidding. I put in like 30 to 45 minutes for just lay down and crash for a little bit, wake up, and then I've got a scheduled meal. And then I've got agent attraction training. And then I've got a networking event. And this is like the Web Sharks is calling me right now. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like what, it's like, hey man, we got like 25 leads for you today. It's like, it's insane.
Anybody else feel like this sometimes?
The good news is your hair looks great, so you could probably skip that one.
I would agree.
Thank you.
I was going to suggest the solution to the haircut issue is called a razor in the shower. You don't have to look for any time. Now you just got to look for the time for the shower.
If you want to look like Shawn.
And Gene, come on now. But does anybody else feel like this at times? Where it's
My
like,
only thing would be making that 2 o'clock in the afternoon break every day. That has, at least first week, has put a little crimp in the schedule. So, you get going along the, oh crap, gotta stop and jump on. So that's been a little challenging.
okay, good feedback. Anybody else feel like sometimes your day's just all over the place, or your week is all over the place, even when you're trying? I see Sarah shaking her head.
That's every day for me.
It's every day. Sarah, did you
Every
get
day.
some sleep this weekend, by the way?
Are you asking me? Or
I'm asking Sarah if she
Oh,
got
I'm
some
sorry.
sleep. Or were you also up stressed all weekend?
Me,
I
no.
sleep.
I was just asking because I don't think JP slept a wink all weekend.
No, and neither did Tracy.
Yeah, we were on with
Yeah.
JP and Tracy earlier today. So good to see you on, and glad everything's resolved. It looks like, knock on wood.
I got to make the post for backup.
Awesome. If any of you guys are best Skip Tracer users, Skippy had a little issue over the weekend, not by cause of us, but by cause of another platform that's involved in the whole mix that decided they were just going to go down for multiple days. So don't take it out on Skippy. Skippy didn't do anything wrong. But it's interesting, Bud, that you bring that up. And I'm sure there's others, right? Even the others that aren't on this call that maybe will watch this later on the replay. Who would like to do a fun little exercise real quick? We'll do it fast, but it'll be a framework that you can sit down, and I challenge you to sit down and do it a little bit more in depth, especially if you feel like Bud. Right? I know Bud's not the only one that's this way. Take something that you can write on, blank sheet of paper, scratch paper, something like that. And I'm going to give you like 60 seconds. Ideally, you'd want to take 4 or 5 minutes to sit down and really think at it, look at your calendar, this type of stuff. But in 60 seconds, I want you to try to jot down as many items that consistently happen week after week after week in business that you're involved in. So things like all of your marketing tasks. I got to cold call people, I got to cold text people, whatever you might be doing on that side. I got to get letters together. I got to handle social posts. I got to network with realtors, whatever those type of things might be. I got meetings with accountants. I've got lenders. I got whatever happens on a pretty regular basis, week after week after week. And when you redo this, I want you to literally sit with your calendar and just look at, Monday. What are all the things that happen every Monday? What are the things that happen every Tuesday? What happen things that happen every Wednesday? Tony, I have no idea if you're frozen or you just know how to sit still and not blink. Anybody else see that? I think Tony's frozen.
Gotta be frozen.
There you go. There, it just fell off. So there, he's back. Can't hear you, but you're back.
I just take a picture of myself and post it. That way I'm frozen.
Gotcha. It's kind of freaky then.
Yeah.
Take a more normal looking picture.
I've tried video. I did videos before and it worked, but now the Zoom doesn't like the video I try to upload. So.
All right, about another 30 seconds or so. Just give me a thumbs up when you feel like you got a decent enough list to play the exercise on. It's not going to be perfect because I'm kind of rushing you through it. Bud kicked a thumbs up. We're good there. All right, next step of this process. You're going to use the letters A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm going to explain what each letter is and what you do with those letters. We're going to start with A really fast. I want you to go through that list. And if the task 100% must be done by you, put an A next to it. 100% must be done by you, put an A. And if you're looking at your list going, I really don't have anything that must be done by me, no A's, that's okay. Now, letter B. Letter B is, it's a task that doesn't need to be done by you, but you prefer it to be handled by you. So it's kind of important. Doesn't really need to be done by me, but it's one of those tasks that I actually enjoy, or one of those aspects of, the consistency of a great example, this call, right? Somebody like Bud, who's trying to hire a team around, does he need to be on this call, right? Sarah's a great example of this. JP doesn't need to be on this call every day because he's got Sarah who could be on here. But JP loves to be on this call as well. Therefore, that would be a B task for JP, right? That's what I mean by it doesn't 100% have to be done by you, but you actually enjoy it. Now, letter C is any task that doesn't matter who it needs to be done by. C tasks are things that don't really move the business forward. They also don't hurt the business. They don't need to be done by you. They really don't need to be done by anybody else. Kind of those like bonus tasks. So like my people that are actually closing deals, transactional type stuff, right? I don't necessarily need to be the one putting the paperwork together. Somebody else could do that. Could outsource it. I mean, there's so many different options to it, but maybe it just gets done faster because you do it, or gets done better because you got somebody else. Now, here's where the challenge comes. How many of you still have, just give me a thumbs up or raise your hand or something. How many of you guys have things on your list that don't have a letter next to it yet? Okay, Bud's the only one with stuff on his list that doesn't have a letter. Terry, okay. These last two letters, I want you to look at every task again, not just the ones that don't have letters. D represents delegate. Go through the list and ask yourself, could I delegate this? Whether you're doing it now or not, this is where you can really challenge those A's if you put some A's on it. Does it really need to be done 100% by me? And put a D next to anything that's delegatable.
Shawn, are some tasks going to have two? Like we might have learned A, but or a B, and when we go back, we go, yeah, I could delegate that. I just prefer to do this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'll give you a second to think on that one. Remember, D is delegate. And now the final one is E. Who thinks they could take a stab at what E stands for?
Eliminate.
Eliminate. 100%, Jacob. 100% correct. Go through that whole list and ask yourself, can I just flat out eliminate this? And by doing so, not impact my week, not hurt it. Meaning, could that haircut come on a Sunday, not a Wednesday? And the E1 is really, that's where the challenge comes. Really get honest with yourself. I'm rushing you guys through now, but if you sit down and do this again, really map it out. This is where I would challenge the D and E's. And if you put really good thought into this and you feel really comfortable with what you put down, you should be able to kind of look at your list now. And if I were to tell you to pull all of the tasks that are a solid A, you didn't put another letter next to it, it's a solid A. And make a list of those tasks. You know, those are things that you're basically saying, I am the only person that can do these. It is a complete 100% on me, and they have to happen on a consistent basis throughout the week, or consistently week over week. Those would be your big rocks. If you remember I think it was last week, I talked about big rocks, little rocks, sand, right? Those are the big rocks of the week. I've got to do them. They've got to happen. Can't do anything else about it. 100% on me. That's a big rock for you for the week. I'd move those off. And then I'd jump to the bottom. What I meant is the bottom of the alphabet that we use there. I'd immediately look at all the E tasks. Anything I put an E next to, I'd cross it off. I'd get rid of it. Just get it out of there. Go. If you Bud, you said use the calendar. I'm big with that too. If it's not on my Google Calendar, I probably look at my Google Calendar 20 times a day, right, on my phone. If it's not on there, it ain't getting done. Well, if I just eliminated something, I'm going on Google Calendar and I'm hitting delete, getting it off of there. If it's a delegate, if there's a D next to it, make a list of all your D's. And I'm going to tell you, kind of help you figure out how to handle those here in a second. And your B's and C's, there's your rocks, your small rocks, kind of like your pebbles, and your sand. So once you eliminate, and once you pull off the D's, and you got a really clear list of A's, your big rocks, then you can look at your B's and C's and you can filter those in. So if I was going to sit down and plan my week now, I'm looking at all my A's. I'm going to make sure those have got a slot. They're in there. I've got them scheduled. I've got set. I know a plan. How am I going to execute on these? I'm going to weave my B's in there. Then I'm going to weave my C's in there. Now that list of D's, you could play the 1, 2, 3, 4 game with those. One being super, super important. Like if I don't hurry up and delegate this until I can delegate, it's kind of like this. Until I delegate that, I have to do it because I can't let it stall. I can't take a break from it. 2s would be not quite as important. It'd be okay if they got missed, but they're still pretty important. 3s and 4s would be more like, hey, it's okay. I don't necessarily need to do them right now. Let me work on getting them delegated. And the first ones that I want to go start getting delegated out would be the ones that I put a 1 next to. Because those are clogging up my way. I have identified them as, I don't need to do these. I can get these off, but I got to get them off my plate before I can stop doing them. I can't just stop doing them. Does that make sense there? This exercise is really good to even use with your team as you build out your team, right? Like Sarah, you don't own the company, you run a department. But as you have other people underneath you, having them periodically go through these types of exercise, like this exercise, maybe every quarter, every 6 months. And this helps identify where some tasks may be clogging up somebody on the team's productivity for the week. It'll also help for those of you that are trying to build a team. This is a good way to tell when's the next time I need to hire a team member. And when those high priority letter A's for that team member are taking an impact because they got too many like B's, C's, D's, things that don't even need to be on them, you could get another team member to take care of that. Maybe a sub member of that team, VA, something like that, right? This is something Roger and I do on a pretty frequent basis. When he feels like we need another developer, we sit down and we kind of look at workloads, responsibilities, who's got what on a consistent basis, how many projects are landing on a team member's lap, how many A's, right? How many B's, how many C's? What are some other things that we're forcing them, to have to cover? What else is clogging up their week? If we start noticing that there's some D's or some E's, things that we could just like eliminate off of Nimit's plate, move it over to somebody else to help him have more free moments to focus on important tasks. That helps us decide the next hire. Like, what is that position, right? But it also works to help plan your week. Questions, comments, thoughts?
I got one.
Shoot it.
I do this, or trying to do this a little regular, but also in like the marketing plan, there's a lot of time I can waste way too much time on doing something that's not like either in the budget for the quarter or whatever. I'm working on quarters, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So then I waste a lot of time. So doing this and then being like, you're wasting your time, it's not towards your goal for this quarter. I think that's helpful too. Yes, or I need to delegate this, but I don't have the marketing budget. But this will be the first one to delegate whenever, I get some more funds in or whatever. But yeah.
Absolutely. Can totally use it you're just looking at the department. Like you said, even from a marketing standpoint. Look at it from the campaign. Sometimes there's things that we want to do, but we have to ask ourselves, can I just eliminate this? Is it really needed? It's nice. I'd like it, right? It's more of a C, but I could eliminate it because it really I'm not ready for it. I don't have the stuff in place for it. I don't have the budget for it. I don't have the following for it. Lorraine, great example earlier. She wanted to change her shirt earlier before she shot a video. I was like, I don't need all that. That's not what I'm asking for. I just doesn't need to be high quality. Just shoot a video real fast. Great share there, John. Being able to take that into a specific department as well. Anybody else? Thoughts, comments, questions? Okay. So then with that, go ahead and put a little thought into kind of this week. First off, just give me a thumbs up, hand raise, whatever. How many guys have been staying on track so far the last couple of weeks? Kind of knocked out what you needed to get done that you said you needed to get done for the week. You might not got all the other stuff done, but you at least got the stuff that you said, hey, I got to get this done. Right here, I got a couple handshakes, thumbs up. John, I see you shaking your head no. How come? What's gotten in the way?
Well, I had that mastermind this weekend, but then my kids had COVID and all that craziness. So it kind of threw a monkey wrench into everything, but it's still on the list. I still thought through it. I just didn't get it accomplished, like the full avatar written out. Right? But I got, time to think through it and get it on paper, but it's just not to the place I wanted it to.
Okay. Who's still sitting pretty on track for their January goal? Anybody achieve their January goal yet other than Jordan? Because he got panic mode and went nuts on it in one day. Bud said, yeah, good on January as well.
It wasn't panic mode. It was let's get this shit done now mode. So by the time in 2 weeks, I ain't got nothing to worry about.
Hey, you call it what you want. I call it panic mode.
All right.
That's the other one to pay attention to. We're down to this week, next week. January's over. And some of you might be looking at that penalty that you gave yourself if you didn't achieve January's goal. And there's no reneging. There's no changing. Got to hold true to it. So go ahead if you've got kind of what your priority is for the week, your 1-2 things, like, hey, this week to win the week, these couple things need to for sure get knocked out. Go ahead and throw those in the chat. Curious what you guys got for the week. And part of putting it in the chat isn't just for me to see it. I encourage you guys also to look at each other's stuff, because if there's something that maybe you might be able to help somebody, or maybe you got an idea for, or maybe you've done that, and you want to help speed up the process, I encourage you to reach out to them. So far I got Jacob in here. Give you guys a second to pop some in. I'm going to start kind of going through them. Jacob, you said close Irene. I'm assuming that's a project name Irene. Or you're trying to close a person named Irene, maybe.
It's a project. It's a property.
Okay. So close Irene and get demo scheduled. Pretty easy, clear cut. Get those 2 done. Bud, close the line of credit. Oop. Go to contract on at least 2 more properties. So we got those in the pipeline.
Yeah, I got a couple of walkthroughs this weekend. They're pretty much already, we have handshake deals. And the line of credit is introductory 0% based on the value of my portfolio. And then it's it's not a HELOC, it's just a line of credit. And then it goes to like 3.5 or something like that. It's a ridiculously low rate, but it's an ARM. But it's $100,000 that I can use. It's not mine. So that's good.
Nice. Well, good luck getting those under contract. It's always good to have that pipeline with some stuff in there. Jordan says raise money for Irene. You already got your target. Let's see. Keith, lineup, go to hard money lender for shopping rates for lenders unavailable lender in our area. So you've kind of already done some of your due diligence. You just want to try to firm it up now, kind of make a decision.
Yeah, I'd like to lock one down.
Okay. Deliver first person private money lender presentation. Tell me a little bit about that. You doing it privately with somebody, or you got a couple different people?
So one person, it's interesting, like the school district that I'm in, I'm slowly recruiting these people away from their jobs and into this. But anyway, no, a friend of mine just in passing just let me know that she had, and it's not a lot of money, but it would be a good first presentation. She had a couple $100,000 sitting in the bank. She sold her home. She's living. She does horses, like she rides them, and her mom owns a farm. And we got to talking, and then she's like, "That's really interesting." And I was kind of just talking about a little bit about private money lending, which then urged me to go ahead and review all of my documentations and complete a presentation. And we do have a property that we're looking into. I don't know that it's going to work out or not, but it would be an example. And she's a long time friend of mine. And so she's more the type that's like, Keith, this sounds really interesting. I can't, I don't have a ton of time to invest in stocks. And, so to be able to sit down and kind of show her, all right, if you lend me this is what you would make an interest over this period of time based on whatever your rate might be. Let's go 10%. But I like to do it in person and just reps, you know what I mean? So, and have that, ready to go. So just another step,
She's into horses in the local area with you?
So she rides, she does eventing. She grew up her whole life. Her mom had a, I don't want to call it a farm, but she goes up, she just put in for the big Lexington, Kentucky eventing thing. But yeah, Ocala, Florida, is huge. The World Equestrian Center just opened up.
Yeah, I was going to tell her to look into Saddle Up Riding Club.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's my aunt's nonprofit there in Pinellas County.
Oh, she probably knows about it. Literally, this is her second life outside of her job, and it's a huge passion of hers. Saddle Up Riding Club.
Yep, Saddle Up Riding Club. They do a lot of equestrian therapy and that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
All right. Bethany said account reconciliation, investor call, team supervisor stats meeting, and underwriting. Beth, you doing the account reconciliation, or it's just got to get done? You got to oversee it and make sure you get the accountant on that one. You're muted.
More like we built out our accounting team, and the account reconciliation is like the year-end stuff that I know of just by my quick analysis is wrong. So it's meeting with them and then potentially demoting, so to speak, and building out further. So yeah, so more of that part of it.
I just did that last week.
Yeah, so you're ahead of my schedule.
Hired a new team, fired the old team, all in the same day.
Hey, well, so doesn't mean that I won't be considering a referral if I need it. The problem I have is that the majority of the teams don't. They're just they know like simple real estate stuff. They don't know complicated stuff like I do. So I find that I'm either having to build it out and then they don't grow fast enough. So it's time to move on to find a new one or what. So
I'll give you some recommendations after I've got maybe a quarter under my belt with this new team. We'll see how it goes. Then I might refer them out. So far, I like them. So far, it's been pretty good. Good. Terry, meeting with Chris tomorrow afternoon and meeting the new tax preparer on the 25th.
Yep.
And it looks like you're closing a property this week too.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
Easy. Clear focus.
Yep.
Gene, complete lead vault workflows, complete postcards for leads, close seller leads. You got some possibilities there?
Yeah, we have a few in the pipeline that we're working on.
Nice. How you feel that they'd close by the end of this week? 80%, 70%, 90%?
75.
Okay. Got some work to do. Pull them over the line. Keith threw in an extra one there. Lead Vault World. We got you later this week. We'll get you kind of rolling on that one. Update PML lending projects. Another one. John said, make about us video. Put it YouTube. Start being more mentally aware to document the journey on social. Talk a little bit about that one, John.
Yeah, so I've been hearing it from you for a while, and then I got slammed in my mastermind laser coaching for this over the weekend. They were like, you're a missionary in your real estate. You need to tell the world about that because that's the most selfless thing in the world. And you will differentiate yourself more than anybody else ever. So quit being a wuss and just post. So that's what I got told. So I'm doing it now.
Well, I'm glad somebody kicked you in the pants.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Love it. I mean, the real estate world is so easy to document your journey and document everything about it, especially from a story standpoint. You guys have so much stuff going on throughout the day that, it's the only reason Bud's got such a great TikTok channel. He just documents and talks about things that pop up all the time in the world of real estate type stuff. And then occasionally, Bud likes to do his little calling people out and stitching other people's things. I'm picking on Bud because he's the only one of you guys that I see on TikTok.
Just because I said the truth.
You do. I think that's why I follow you. All right.
Follow up.
Yep, that's where I was going to go. Was it's everybody that I see in there. So if anybody has questions around what you're trying to get done, or need some advice, maybe want to pick somebody's brain. So Keith, you got us rolling on it. Kick us off.
Sorry, man, I didn't mean to interrupt. John, I was going to ask John, and Shawn, I could ask you guys this too. Are you talking about like you're posting on your like specific social media platforms, all like your personal profile page or in groups? The only reason that I'm asking that is because I'm in a weird situation where I'm in a small county and I'm an educator, and I'm like, it's like, I don't know, it's people talk, you know, people are already wondering, is Keith leaving education? Is this and that? And, you know, and I'm trying to balance the two, you know what I mean? So I've been posting my journey in our groups, and now I'm posting it on our business Facebook page. But I have posted some stuff on my personal page just to initially get everybody over to my business page, but now it's basically on the business page and on the groups. So for you guys, I imagine it's probably different because you're just all in with your friends is just all real estate, and they're not going to be like, you're not being loyal to our network because how much time are you spending over there? How serious are you? You know what I mean? So anyway, I was just wondering, are you just posting it everywhere or just in specific in specific places within your social media?
Good, John.
Yeah, I'll give you, for me, the reason I haven't been posting is kind of that same situation. Honestly, it's a fear of my donors who support our ministry will figure out that I'm doing something else, and then they'll be looking at me like, he spent all his time doing that, and we're basically sending funds for him to do this, but now he's not doing that. So I'm going to it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're going to realize that I'm still going to be able to do both. And it's a fear of me. And it's just, I've decided that I'm going to use real estate as the vehicle to do the ministry. And at the end of the day, they'll see that I'm still going to, like, for me, for my instances, I'm going to stay working for my mission agency. I'm going to use real estate to fund that. And once they get that word out, which I'm going to tell the world about, then they'll see it over time. And either they'll accept it or they don't. And if they don't accept it, I'm sorry, and go on. But this is where I'm going with it. So I can worry myself to death about what somebody else is going to think. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's right for me and my family and my ministry and my, you know, what I think I'm being led to do, and just take that step. So you got to have faith that the next step is to go into real estate and tell everybody and put it on your social and say, and if you're going to stay in your teacher job, just say, hey, I love teaching and I'm going to do real estate. And right now that's what we're doing together, but it could be, I love teaching and I'm going to start teaching real estate. I mean, I'm still a teacher at heart, either way.
John, I feel,
yeah,
I mean, I know I'm down here. I'm, you know, still in the belt, so to speak. But I think I needed to hear that, man. I appreciate you sharing that personal part, because it definitely speaks to me. I had a little bit of a situation. I was an assistant principal in my county last year, and a personal conflict led to me leaving that position and going into another position at another school. And my name was pretty well known in the county. So there was all this talk about what had happened, and nothing happened except sometimes you and your supervisor just don't mesh. Well, my name's still in the pool to go back, but for $30,000, you're looking at 90 hours plus a week. And it's just, and there's a lot of politics and crap that have killed my field. Kathleen and I, we want to leave our jobs and go into real estate and serve through real estate. And that has been, I kind of developed like a fearlessness, because I want, like, what you were saying, like, you can do everything right. It doesn't mean things are going to work out. And so, in other words, I did everything right. I played the politics. I smiled, a bit my tongue when I was supposed to, and it didn't mean shit. So, in Jordan's words. So anyway, I needed to hear that, because that was awesome, man. Thank you. That was awesome.
Keith, I think you just need to use it to your advantage, because I'm in a similar position as you. Like, I didn't want my job thinking I'm going to go quit on them and all that fun stuff, even though, you know, that's the plan one day, but use it to your advantage. Like, I used to never talk about real estate at work in fear that, you know, I get in trouble more or less. Like now my GM knows, what's going on. He knows what I do on the side, and I just didn't mention it, but bringing it up in those atmospheres, like hell, I've got a lender out of it that funded a deal. I've got potentially way more other lenders. I've got people that are bringing me deals from inside of work that are like, here's one, call this lady. It's going to catapult it. Just, being true to yourself. And like John said, just letting it be a part of you. People who are wanting to get into real estate, they'll come and ask you questions. Like there'll be people that'll work for you one day, whether it's like under your umbrella or just working for you like wholesale, like bringing you deals. I mean, what more could you ask for? That's free marketing right there. And I had to get out of my comfort zone really, and just address the situation and let it be known like it's a part of me, and it makes life easier. You feel like you're not hiding from yourself anymore.
I'm out of the closet as a real estate investor.
Yeah. I'm out in the closet real estate investor. Yeah, there you go.
I think I appreciate that, and I'm not going to hog anybody else's time, but that, and in addition to what John was saying, it's probably a deep-seated fear of rejection that was causing me to, or maybe even abandonment that was causing me to second guess. And Jacob, that was just killer, man. Thank you guys both.
Sounds Terry. You're my only, well, Jordan, but I'm going to pick on Terry. Terry, does it sound like John kind of unlocked his cage and finally came out?
Yep. And John, I had the same thing. I mean, though I was retired from the fire department till I got with Top Results, I mean, I pretty much just kept everything on my business page. And these guys said, no, you got to start putting on your personal page. And I was part of the FEMA program, and I got 28 departments across the country that I would go to meetings and things like that. So again, me coming out of the closet too, it just kind of helped. I mean, now I go to my local retiree breakfasts or afternoon beer get-togethers, and now I got real estate agents that are talking to me that are retired firemen and all kinds of stuff. So, and again, it took Top Results and our Unleash Your Inner Lion to tell me to get back to those groups, because I was so overwhelmed with the business. I wasn't fostering any outside relationships either. So it was just kind of all encompassing, and I've kind of cut back, and it's been for the better. So.
We only got 10 minutes, so I'm not going to go into a whole other teaching, but those coming in 2 weekends, you'll get that teaching that I was going to go into here. So anybody else have questions for each other? Something you want, a quick idea around, brainstorm, anything at all? Or are we just ready to get rolling this week here? All right. Well, sounds like you guys are all good.